Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to our very first video podcast. I'm super excited about this, and we are also super grateful for your support in our Facebook groups and for watching and any feedback you want to give us. Excited to get started, but before we go into our cuppa that we recorded, today's episode, the very first one, we're going to be digging deeply into Becky's thoughts on the ADINJC Intelligent Instructor National Conference for 2024. We chat about her favourite sessions. She gives a bit of an insight into her favourite speakers and who she's looking forward to viewing. We then go on to talk about the different activities and demos that are on display. And we also start speaking about why she's really excited to grab a freebie goodie bag. I personally think it's because it might cheer her up after losing at the Scalextrics again. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll be a fun ride. Hopefully you guys will stick around and find it interesting. Also, I just want to point out that these videos are designed for you guys, our viewers, and your input means a lot to us. So get stuck in, get involved, comment. If you've got a topic that you want us to talk about, then please let us know. And also, if you want to get involved and join us on one of these, then please do let us know, because I'd love to have you on board.
Hey Becky,
Hi, Scott.
how you doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Are you excited for our first cuppa without a cuppa as it's quite late?
Cuppa without a
Bollocks.
cuppa. I've got some fancy water in a fancy glass. That'll do.
Very cool. Very cool. So, being our first one, we kind of put it out there, didn't we, that we're going to talk about the upcoming ADINJC and Intelligent Instructor conference, didn't we?
Amazing.
So, what excites you the most about, I guess, not just the ADINJC Intelligent Instructor Conference, but an expo conference? So what excites you about them?
So for me, the thing that excites me the most is seeing everyone face to face. I I love a voice message. Everyone who's watching this will probably know I'll have probably spoken to everyone with a voice message. I love chatting to people over Zoom, but you cannot beat meeting people face to face. And I remember going to the expo last year, and I just bumped into so many people that I'd made friends with and grown relationships with over Facebook, over Zooms. And yeah, it's so, so great. You make these connections in the industry, and I think something like the expo is just the perfect place to come together and grab a cuppa, have a selfie, have a chat. It's yeah, that's the best thing that I'm looking forward to. It's just meeting so many people. I can't wait.
That's really cool. And because interestingly, we've worked on various little projects and things or shared ideas, but actually never met in person either, have we? So,
I
um,
hope you're ready for a massive hug.
but you said that, you built up this network, social network of people that you've spoken with, and shared, virtual cuppas and tears and excitement and celebrations. But for you, was that what enabled you to want to go to these conferences as maybe, for want of a better word, an excuse to meet these people and maybe learn something? But I guess my next question would be is, what if you don't have that to look forward to?
Especially as well, I've had a lot of PDIs get in touch with me and saying they feel a bit nervous coming by themselves. They don't know anyone. There's limited people that they've made connections with yet. Maybe they're quite early on in their journey. And so for them, the attraction isn't going to be going and meeting everyone and hugging everyone and being a psycho like I will be with everyone. The attraction for them, I think, is just the fact that we have something like this in our industry. The stuff that's on offer there, all the speakers, the opportunity to listen to these speakers face to face, the training, the advice that you can take away from something like that is amazing. And to think that it's free and that it's given to us all is just fantastic. So I think for the people that aren't going to go and hug everyone, there is so many other things on offer. The range of speakers that are going this year that you get to go and listen to for completely free is just crazy. And there's loads of activities. There's all the stands and the stalls that you can have a little mooch around and chat. And There's loads of things that you can pick up. There's loads of free pens and air fresheners and all that kind of stuff. But it's really
So you're
great
going
if
for
you're
the freebies.
who doesn't does not get the freebies. But for somebody that's maybe fairly new in the industry and they're still growing those connections and those relationships, they're still learning who's who and what's what and stuff. The fact that you can go and get a full day of free CPD that's recognised by the DVSA as well for you attending, I think is fantastic. That's such a bonus to be able to have that, isn't it? There's so many things on offer. Everybody gets their training from wherever they get it from. But to be able to go and have all these people in one place that you can go and have a natter with, go and watch them speak, I think is fantastic. We're really lucky as an industry to have something like this coming up.
I completely agree. I think there's, to play sort of devil's advocate a little bit, it's hearing all those great things that you can gain from it, but then that fear of, I'm going on my own, I'm not going to know anyone. And I guess I think I'm not a big football fan, but you go to a football stadium, you can kind of pick up on the buzz, can't you?
Yeah.
And you're right, there's so many people there that somebody will get talking to you, get involved somehow. But it is, I guess, that daunting aspect of going to go and then what to do, what to expect. And I guess for me, I would welcome people to message us and say, hey, can I come and say hi? And of course the answer is yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's really important that they know that there can be people like us there that can be a bit of an anchor. So if they're feeling a bit nervous, get checked in, walk in and come and find one of us, and just start those initial networks that you can start to build up. And even if it's a case of we can introduce you to other people as well. There might be other people sat there that are feeling a bit lonely or that haven't really got anyone. I've spoke to a few people that I've managed to get buddied up and they're coming together, which is amazing. So there's stuff that we can do, and I'm sure there's lots of things that other people can do as well to help everyone just feel welcome. And you'll find as well that as you walk around and you talk to people on all the stands and get to know about products and services that are available in our industry, there'll be other people there listening to the stuff that you're listening to, and you can start to natter with them and talk about them about where they are in their journey. I remember last year I was stood in the queue for a coffee. I came with a friend, a driving instructor friend, and I went off to get a coffee. I was just stood by myself, and the guy behind me, he just sort of tapped me on the shoulder and he went, "So are you an ADI or a PDI?" And it was just lovely that he just wanted to chat. We were stood waiting for a coffee and we just started having a natter talking about each other's journeys, and he was a PDI and we swapped details. And that's fantastic that you can do that. Everybody is there for, I think, for the same reason. They're there because they want to get something out of it, and it's absolutely okay to have your personal reason of what you want to get out of it. And yeah, just get to know people. I feel like the people that go to it are people that you could go up to and say, "Hi, I can have a chat with you," or "I feel a bit lonely. Am I right to stand with you?" I think
I
everybody
think
there
you're
would be
right.
receptive to that.
I think everyone's going there with a similar agenda, or to find out what it is
Mm.
about, and hopefully, our chats like this and things that are out there can help paint that picture. But I guess everyone's like-minded in that they wanting to gain something from it. And yeah, they're either an ADI, a PDI, a trainer, or looking at entering the business. So there's, like you said, there's all walks of life there, which kind of leads me into my next kind of question. So I believe there's either 24 or more than 24 sessions available on the day.
Mm.
So my question to you is, what seminar or speaker for you is a must attend?
So it's always going to be, for me, my answer is always going to be the same. It's Bob Morton. Of course it is. There are some really great people speaking this year. There's Tom Stenson, who I think is fabulous, Chris Benstead, Diana Todd from Inspiring
Could
Instructor
we,
Training.
as we're having a chat, could we get a bit more weight as to why you're name dropping these people? So for you, what they brought to you? Because we spoke about get to this thing, network, connect. But I mean, what does that person give you? What do you get out of it? Even if I guess you're hearing the same thing as maybe last time or something, what does that fill you with?
So I'll tell you the four that I've just mentioned, and I'm not going to go through all of them because there's so many people that I'm looking forward to
I
saying hello
agree. That's a hard
to.
question.
Well, there's so many that I'm looking forward to speaking to, meeting again, meeting for the first time, and getting to know a bit more. Tom Stenson, I've never met him personally, but I know that he's the head of training at ADINJC, and he always comes across as just the most helpful person. I've watched some of his episodes with Terry Cook on the Instructor podcast, and I just think he just seems like a really lovely person, really knowledgeable, really approachable, really friendly. So I'm really looking forward to meeting Tom. Chris Benstead, I've chatted to loads. He came on to Empathetic and we did a Zoom session once, and I could just listen to him for hours. I find when he talks, he's just mesmerizing. He's got some really great tales, some really great stuff, and he is so knowledgeable on not only theory stuff, which is of course what he's known for, but so many things. There's so many things that you could go to him and ask, and I love that. Diana Todd, me and Diana were PDIs at a similar time, and I just think she's fabulous. She's grown amazing. She's just smashing it, and I'm looking forward to giving her a big hug again. It's been a year since me and her last saw each other, so I'm really looking forward to that. And Bob, of course, Bob. Bob is if you don't know who Bob is, then where have you been in our industry?
Then we
He
need to sit
is,
down and chat about this.
yeah, yeah. Bob is the director of training at Client Centered Learning, which is his company, and he's kind of what everybody would just say is the guru of our industry, isn't he? He is the guy that you go to for learning about client centered learning, coaching, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, he knows I'm a massive fangirl of his, so this won't come as a surprise when he watches this. But there's
I think
loads of
I'm a
people.
secret admirer.
See, loads of people that I'm looking forward to meeting, and there's lots of different types of speakers as well. There's loads of different trainers, which is fantastic. But there's people who are there. There's a Love Day rider from the DVSA. There's people there from some of the apps that you can use. I think there's My Drive Time, they're talking. There's business support. I'm going to be there. A couple of people
Becky, you're
talking
going to
about that.
start answering all the other questions I've got.
Just shut me up. I can waffle. I can
Yeah,
waffle on.
I'm going to add a mute button. That's really good. So just quickly, give me those four names again.
Tom Stenson, Chris Benstead, Diana Todd, and Bob Morton.
So that's where you're going to be found.
Yeah, well, definitely amongst
Cool.
all the others. But for people,
Yeah.
if they want to find me, I'm going to be on stand number 10 this year. I'm going to be on the Let's Instruct partnership stand, talking
We
to you
brush
all
over
about the Let's Instruct partnership, so people can find me there.
we'll brush over that you didn't mention his name. Okay, cool. So you almost went over to talk about the sort of activities and I think and apps, and there's HGV reversing, I think, this time.
She reversing, yeah. So
There's
yeah, go on.
HGV reversing, you can tell me more about it. EV test drives,
Mhm.
VR road safety.
Yeah, the VR virtual experience thingy, yeah, which I don't know if that's for me. I might get a bit seasick, but
They
not
make
seasick.
me, I'll fall over. Watching me with that on my head playing Beat. Actually, I can do is it Beat Saber? I can do that one. The other ones, I'm sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
can do
done
the
these
whole.
things before. Yeah, that should be at the expo.
We'll do one on the videos. So HGV reversing,
Mhm.
EV test drives, VR road safeties, safety demos. So there's quite a few things going on, but which, and if you want to add to it, you can. Which of those do you think will offer the most unique experience for somebody attending?
Oh, the most unique experience. Well, I guess that's subjective. It depends on each person and what they're looking
It
for.
does. And what about for you?
For me, so there's one that you haven't mentioned, which is an activity that you can do. And I was so competitive with it last year, and I'm going to be so bloody competitive again with it this year. But it's the giant scale X trick that's there. It's
Okay.
this massive Yeah, massive scale electric and fastest lap wins. I don't know. I'm not sure if you win anything. I think there are prizes on offer. And it is run
You're going
by
to be disappointed if there isn't.
it's the sponsor is Drive Day. It's run by them. And yeah, it was so much fun. I wasn't very good at it. I'm ridiculously competitive, but I wasn't very good at it. But I'm gonna play Mario Kart for the next couple of weeks and up my skills ready for it.
I think in Smiths they've got actually a Mario Kart version of the Scale Electric. So we'll pop down there and start practicing.
Just order it, hang on.
It's probably about 300 quid.
Oh.
Okay, so Scale Electrics you like, but is there a new one or one that you've seen and haven't tried before that you're thinking, I might give that a go?
Yeah, the adapted vehicle display and test drives for anybody that wants to get into that, anybody that is interested in becoming like a specialist disability driving instructor, I think it's really interesting. There's someone that's
Do you know what
just
do you know what the chap's name is? I can't think off the top of my head, but the
well,
loveliest chap to
um
talk to.
there is there's an instructor that I work closely with in Sheffield who's on the Sheffield Association Committee called Lee Pollard, who does all that. He's our sort of local disability driving instructor. And I've chatted to him before a little bit about it. So no, I don't know what the main guy's name is. I think it's John. That rings a bell.
I'm terrible with names at the best of time, but I remember having a really long conversation. I feel really rude not remembering his name now.
Well, it's a good
But
thing we all get a lanyard around our necks for the
it
expo,
doesn't
isn't it?
help.
So but I think that can be really good. You can look at how cars are fitted with adaptations and just learn a little bit about instructors that specialize in that. I think it's a whole other world of being an instructor. And if that's something that you're interested in, whether it's something that you're interested in pursuing and going into, or whether it's just something you want to have a nosy at and just open your eyes to a little bit, if you ever then get a learner that comes to you that needs it, you would then kind of know a bit about it and potentially make contacts in your area that you can then direct them to, which I think is really useful.
Thank you. Somebody new, we're kind of going back a little bit, but somebody new going to this, or maybe somebody that's had a break from it in a few years. Could you give me like one or two key takeaways that you got when you first went?
Oh, one or two key takeaways. So, I would, when you first walk in, because it's at the same place that it was last year, so I remember the layout. When you first walk in, it does look a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of stands, there's a lot of people, and it's really fun. I would, me personally, and I think it could be useful, have a little walk around, have a little look at some of the stands, maybe chat to the ones that you're drawn to first, but then go around again. It's a little bit like your awareness and planning skills. We're going to go around and have a little look first, then we're going to go around again, and we're going to have a look at what else we can see. And I would recommend talking to everyone on every stand as well. Even if you think, oh, that doesn't interest me, why not? You're there for the day, make the most of it, and chat to people. Ask what their products are. Ask what they've got, the information they can give you. I think that would be probably my biggest key take is make the most out of the day. Use it for what it's there for and talk to everyone about everything that's there. And it might not be something that you initially think, maybe that's not for me. But after hearing about it, you might go, oh, actually, I'm sold. I get that. I like that. That's really good. I'm going to take my business in that direction. So I think that would be one. Another one would be have a little look at the speakers that you want to listen to mainly. Work out when they're on and where they're at, because there's two main stages there's the main stage, then there's another room, and then there's the PDI zone. So there's three areas where there's speakers. Have a little look at who you want to listen to, find out where they are and what time they're on, so that you can just plan it a little bit, just so you're not running here, there, and everywhere kind of thing. And then if you can, fit in the other ones that you want to listen to as well. Yeah, they would be my big key takes. Take advantage of everyone, every stand, every speaker, every activity that you can. And the speakers, just know when they're speaking and where they're speaking, just so that you don't miss them, because it's so valuable listening to them. Absolutely.
It's really important. I think of it like maybe I just don't pay much attention. Like watching a film, you watch it the second time, you get something else from it. I don't remember that. Or and I find listening in to other people's conversations with some of these stands as well. You can,
Yeah.
we all think slightly differently, and it may be come across a different way, or the question might be presented a different way. And actually, I found you can help develop speaking, listening, and Q&A from this sort of stuff as well. And there's so many personalities out there. We're all
So
singing
if
from that
you're
same hymn sheet, aren't we? But we're doing it in a different way.
so if you're a bit of a nosy bugger, just go and loiter near the cafe or something and just listen out to everyone.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with
yeah, absolutely. And
that.
a bit of a conveyor belt theme with the. I love that you pointed out that plan your day basically. Look at the
Mm.
times and what everyone's on, and what's that person known for. Maybe do a bit of homework and research on these people, and yeah, plan your day. I mean, it doesn't always go to plan, does it? But at least you've got a rough idea. You don't want to find yourself double booked or missing out on two people that
Well,
you want to
it's
do.
just like a lesson, isn't it? You might need to adapt the plan. You might need to manage risk. If you're going to go outside to the HGV thing and it's raining and you're not a fan of the rain, you might need to adapt it and go back inside.
That's it. That
Yeah,
would
that's
really ruin
exactly
my day and make my hair go curly, wouldn't it? That's so.
it. It would.
All right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. So you mentioned earlier that Loveday Ryder
Mhm.
is going to be having a talk,
Mhm.
and they said it's going to be an open Q&A. So my question to you is, what key issues do you think or hope may be addressed in
I
her
think
particular session?
I think one of the biggest things that will be addressed is test times for PDIs. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things. For me as a trainer, the most common thing that I hear is I can't get a test for another 6, 7, 8 months. My badge is going to run out. What's going to happen? That tends to be the biggest theme at the minute. And I must admit, I think it's getting slightly better. It is in my local area. We've had a couple of new examiners that are doing tests for part two,
Seems to
part
be
three.
dependent on the test center or location, doesn't it?
Yeah,
But
I think it
but
does.
do you think this is going to be a barrage of questions on this theme from the audience, or do you think this is something she's going to address?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know her personally. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. I think it would be nice if she addressed it. I think it would be nice if I can't imagine that she is unknown to that happening in our industry at the minute, and PDI is having an issue and struggling with it. So I'd like to think it would be addressed. It would be great if it was, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's discuss this right here and right now. That would be great. But I think it would probably come up anyway, even if it doesn't. Again, that's just my kind of what I hear a lot from what's going on with PDIs that I talk to. It's I failed and I can't get another test. I'm back on hold. There's no tests available. That's the biggest thing that I'm noticing at the moment.
You say you're noticing that, but what effect does it have? Is it having on your business and your PDIs?
So obviously I'm the empathetic trainer. So the point of me is to be there for people. And there are some nights when we're awake till 1 a.m. on the phone, me and a PDI or chatting on voice messages because they are broken. They've failed a part three because they failed. We're not going to slag anyone off just because maybe training wasn't right or something wasn't right. And it's not gone right, nerves, whatever. They've failed. They've booked a test on hold. They're not hearing anything. Their pink license has run out. They've been refused. They're worrying what they're going to do with their income. And of course, we know, we're not going to go into that, but of course, we know a training license is not to earn, it's to learn.
Well,
But
is that the bottom line though?
these are massive concerns for PDIs at the moment, aren't they? I think sometimes they're sold a dream, but then they end up living a nightmare a little bit, and they're left in positions where they don't feel like they're very supported.
We're running the risk of getting too deep into this, aren't we? But yeah.
I'm hoping for PDIs. I help anyone, PDIs or ADIs, but I am a massive fan of PDIs. I was a PDI for a long time. My journey wasn't easy, so I am here and I am behind every PDI, and I feel like that is an issue that needs addressing. It needs to be raised. It needs to be asked what's going to be done to help our current PDIs and our future PDIs so that they're not having this massive knock-on rolling effect of I failed because of this, that, and the other, whatever the reasons might be. I now can't get another test again. I now can't get another trainee license. I've been told by my franchise that I still have to pay franchise fees, but I can't get all these factors. And everyone's situation is different. Everyone's circumstances are different. But if you take all of the individualities, blooming heck, that were hard for me to say, wasn't it? If you take all that out of it, if you take all that out of it, and you just get to the bottom line, which is there are no tests available, or we're booking to hold. We're not able to book for this is when I'd ideally like it. This is I'm going to go on and I'm going to search, and I'd like one for in 6 weeks because that'll mean that I'll have time to get some extra training in, etc. We haven't got that flexibility, that possibility, that option. It's just book to hold and just wait and see. And sometimes when you're living in limbo, waiting to be emailed, waiting to be told, well, this is when your test day will be, it feels a little bit like, well, that's not in my control. And that's hard. That's hard when it's a journey that is full of anxiety anyway. It makes you anxious. And then when you're not in control of when your next one's going to be, I've talked about this before on some podcasts. I think a failure, you've got to kind of own a failure, and you've got to get really curious about why you failed, and you've got to really kind of understand what's expected of you, ready for your next one.
Interestingly, what you're saying.
What you can.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, interestingly, because I don't want to come too far away from the Love Day aspect here, is that it's a bigger problem. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg with not having tests readily available, are we? But this is a rhetorical question. I don't know if either of us certainly have the answer. That we're 3 years from the pandemic. It's still the same. We've still got the same problem. At what point, where is the light at the end of the tunnel? So for me is, if we don't have an answer, what's the pathway to seeking an answer?
What's the plan moving forward?
Because it's not sustainable, is it?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable, but you kind of don't realize that it's not sustainable until you're in it, until it's too late, until you're deep in it, and you're experiencing failure, or you're experiencing lack of support, or all those kind of factors that could happen. And then it's a little bit like too late, and it's like, oh, I'm so far down this path now that I'm not going to give it up, because I want to be a driving instructor. That's my career, that's my goal. But oh my God, it's bloody hard. It's harder than I was told it would be. It's harder than I was led to believe. And these are the factors why. And there's lots of factors.
I literally had that conversation today with somebody. They're like, I'm too far gone. I've got to finish it. But they don't know when that's going to happen.
And that sucks, right?
I think so. Especially, from my experience, regardless of the support I've given or the advice I've given, at the point of going onto a trainee license, that person's pretty much committed everything, and potentially even finished a job, quit a job, resigned, whatever it might be. That's not the best practice, but that's what happens, How do some people run two different things, and they get sold this package. They believe in themselves that they can do it, and then they've got these extras, and I don't know if there's an element of transparency or a problem with transparency. I don't really know. I'm surmising, but yeah. Anyway, so I also had a couple of conversations, and I put this conference to some of my local groups. It's just creating a bit of a buzz. Who's going? Does anyone kind of need a lift and things? As you've seen, I put out there, and there was a couple of kind of negative ones come back, like, oh my God, do these things still happen? I'll give them the widest berth I can. And that confuses me a little bit. So I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on the importance of CPD and the impact it could have on, localized themselves, but also on the bigger picture of our industry, of somebody not committing to CPD like coming to the conference?
So we're never gonna slate other driving instructors. We're never gonna say the people that don't come to this are X, Y, and Z. Everybody will have their own personal reasons for going and for not going. And there are some negative comments. Oh, well, I wouldn't go near that. I'm not doing that. I'm not wasting a day traveling. I'm not. Okay, fine. That's your call. But what we can talk about is like what you've just said, the importance of CPD. And the fact that the ADINJC and Intelligent Instructor are giving us a day's free of fantastic CPD, for me, why wouldn't you take that up? If your job,
But
which is,
they're not us. I
well,
think
that's what I mean. Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get is for people that aren't socially connected or committed. So because I think CPD, especially for me, is infectious. It's addictive. Once you've dipped in a little bit and you're around the football stadium of all the same people doing the same thing, it's energetic. And so for somebody that's got that opinion for whatever reason, what's the impact of not committing to CPD on any form, on any playing field?
The impact of not doing CPD, we hear a lot. And a lot of trainers and a lot of people on Facebook will hear a lot of I need a new instructor because my instructor shouts at me, or I need a new instructor because my instructor's on the phone, or I need a new instructor because my instructor just tells me what to do all the time, or I need a new instructor because my instructor's always late. I need a new instructor. We hear all these reasons, and for whatever happened, for whatever reason, those things happen. But you have to wonder, is there an aspect of these things happening because that person isn't investing in themselves to keep wanting to better themselves for retention purposes, to keep hold of their pupils, to better their business, to better themselves and to feel good about themselves and know that they're putting 1,000%, not even 100, they're putting 1,000% into themselves to want to be the best that they can be, and for all the right reasons as well. As you say, they're not us, and they're not a lot of people. People that are listening to this are people who are fantastic and who want to better themselves. People that go to the expo, I don't believe anybody's going there to go and be negative, to go and deliver negative comments to anyone. I think everybody there is very like-minded, which is fantastic. It would be great if we got, what, 47,000 instructors in our industry.
48 now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. And I know last year they had like 1,500 people, just less than that. I think they're expecting like 1,500 people this year, which is great. But what's the statistics of that? In my opinion, it should be everyone. I think if you are in a career that you've chosen to be in, you're self-employed, nobody's paying you to do what you do. You have to get up and make the effort to work, don't you? Wouldn't you want to better yourself? But
I mean, you know what my answer to that would be.
yeah.
But I worry. I don't know if worry is the right word. Does it have? It's easier to latch onto a negative emotion, right? It's easier to recall a negative, and I worry that some of these groups that are not moderated, less moderated, in a sense that the drive, the trying to get my words out here, the motivation to do these things is not there, and that people that have had a negative experience, a negative thought, could have that negative impact on somebody else that maybe considered it, and because somebody said they had a bad experience, they don't go, because you can go on like Trustpilot, couldn't you? And you can read thousands of negative reviews about something. It almost creates a bit of a culture for it, and it's a shame because you and I can see the benefit to it, and it would be great if we could pick a few of those up and almost put them in our crowd and try and change some opinions. I don't know, because the industries are very different from when I first started as well, and I certainly wasn't involved and immersed in social gatherings. I very much just wanted to be sort of left alone and do my own thing, but I still developed and invested in my own development. But like you say, we're all different.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you can't ever judge anyone for anything. You can kind of um you can kind of think, why wouldn't you take advantage of this great free day of CPD kind of thing? But everyone's individual, aren't they? All you can do is what you can do, and manage what you can manage. And everybody that's listening to this, everybody that's going to the expo, come and see us, come and hug us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, it's about being inclusive, and I think that's also a bit of a theme for this one, isn't it?
Mm.
So there's sessions on teaching those with disabilities that you've mentioned. I think that could be quite good because I know there's more awareness of various different types of disabilities, and it's certainly not my specialist subject. Um, it's being more inclusive in terms of actually getting on the road, so different types of adaptations. Certainly, when I spoke to, I think you said his name was John, um, I couldn't believe in just a short amount of time the amount of adaptations that are now available to different disabilities is insane. So I love that there's a bit of a theme
Mm.
for inclusivity. Um, I think I've got one more.
Okay.
Um, I've got a couple to pick from. Bear with me.
Great.
um, mm, mm, what are you hoping to leave with?
Great question. A lot more connections, a lot more solidified friendships and foundations with people. I'm really looking forward to meeting people that I work really closely with in the industry, like yourself, that I've never actually met face to face. So I think the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is the networking side of it and meeting people. If you'd have asked me when I was a PDI, for me personally, I'd have been looking forward to all of the free training and advice that's on offer, all the incredible speakers. Um, if you asked my
No, you're just going for the trap.
15-year-old, yeah, if you asked my 15-year-old if I was bringing him with me, he would be looking forward to all the free merchandise that's on offer. So it's subjective, isn't it? For me, it's definitely the networking. What about you? What are you looking forward to the most? What do
Oh, you
you want to get out
literally
of it?
took my finalizing question because I was going to give you an opportunity to ask me a question.
There you go.
And I
Yeah.
wasn't listening because I was too busy, dumbfounded that you've read my mind. What was your question?
What's your key takeaway from the expo? What are you wanting to get out of it the most?
So my purpose, sorry, the purpose of my visit is slightly different actually this time around. So I've been to a few of them myself. The last one I went with one other person within my team within my school, because we wanted to look at ways in which we could. Uh, I'm looking for a different word, but sell it to the rest of the team to go,
Hmm.
because of the negativity now that
Yeah.
some people are subjected to. And we've achieved that, and by going and understanding its benefits and seeing what's on offer, just like what we've done today is talk about it. So this year I'm bringing a number of our team for their very first conference. So I'm sure they're going to watch this and
Fantastic.
get some great, take some advice from yourself. And for me, it's a learning experience with the team.
Hmm.
So put them in front of people that I trust and believe in, and there's value in. There's weight to what they say. All of those names that you've mentioned. Um, the name drop I would put in there is Andrew Love. He's been a big part of my development over the years. So yes, working with my team, allowing and giving them access to people that I work closely with, such as yourself. And I think that's going to be a plan for ourselves as well, isn't it? And start working,
Yeah,
with my team, with other people. So that's is that a takeaway? Yeah, learning experience
it's completely.
again.
And I've obviously met some of your team. I hopped on one of your Zooms and just gate crashed. And I'm really looking forward to meeting all of them and giving them all a big hug and saying hi, definitely.
And I'm sure they feel the same. Well, listen, Becky, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me on this capacity and such, such a late time in the evening. Hopefully, I think everyone will get something from this. Yeah, I just want to thank you for your time, and it's been great talking to you as always.
It has. It's been really, really lovely. And for anybody that is coming, we genuinely do mean it, both myself and Scott. If you're feeling a bit nervous, if you're not sure about it, if you're umming and ahhing, book on. It's free to come. Just come and have a great day. Come and meet us. If you're not feeling sure, Scott's bringing all his team. You can just tag along with those guys. You can come and stand with me and meet me. We can go and have a cuppa. Yeah, honestly, make the most of it. It's there to make the most of it. And you know what? We only regret the things that we don't do.